Welcome to my channel, Comic Book Noise, as we talk about my comic book company, Digital Noise, as we explain the characters and the storylines of the Digital Noise universe. Well, I'm coming back to you today on the subject of part 2 of the uncanny resemblance of Ironheart to my comic book issue title called Delete. And what I did in a video prior was when I heard of the Ironheart series, the MCU series that's on Disney Plus, I was like, cool, that's a cool thing to do. And, the representation is great and all this other stuff. But then I saw a promotion or a TikTok that was saying that I never heard her powers before of that in the comic book series, is that she's going to have the ability of magic and technology. And so that rung a bell in my head about, okay, what is this? Because that's the ultimate, I guess, power of my character, Delete. And also the same as Ironheart, Delete is using magic and technology to fight demonic forces. So that kind of turned my head. So on the video prior, you can look at that, what I'm talking about. From the beginning of my original commentary on it. And now we're on part 2, on continuing on from that conversation to this video. But now I'm going to go based off the actual series that I saw this past week. And it came out, the MCU Disney Plus series came out with 3 episodes already. And I saw all 3. And I'm just going to give you some similarities. And here we go. So I saw the first 3 episodes of Ironheart this week, and I could tell you it was pretty interesting to see the series. And my opinion of the series is that it's pretty good. It's a pretty good story. It is different from my character Delete in a way, as far as the story is of how she comes about to be a hero. But there are a lot of similarities of my story, of my character. And it's just few nuances here and there. But as far as the layout of the story is totally different from my character. From what I saw from the series and what I got the crux of it, it was that basically Ironheart didn't have enough money. She wanted power and fame, and she'll do anything to get it. And so she would steal to get it, and she would join a gang to get the recognition that she thinks she deserves. So basically, it's almost like they wrote her to be a villain, and that's definitely not my Delete character, because I wanted the African American female that I represent into a comic book industry as a hero. And so she can be a flawed hero, but she will definitely show that she is a hero in some sort. Because as Riri Williams, as her alias is Ironheart, she's a technological genius and one of the smartest people in the world, but she's unnoticed, and so she does things unconventional to, instead of going to school and excelling to school and showing her intelligence in that way, she rather goes steal and create stuff to rob more for herself and for her fame, which is, I find it kind of funny that Disney would write a character represent that, especially a black female, and that's because they have so few and far in between African American females that are strong leads in comics. So that is much different from my character. My character grew to be found that she was a genius, and she went to certain gifted schools because people saw her genius, and she worked her way and decided to go in the military, in the special division of the military, to help create weapons and things like that, and also serve for the military, which she's in the Marines. And so that means she wants to fight for her country and things like that, even though she grew up in the poverty-stricken areas of Harlem. And by the age of 17, she decided to enroll in military and better her life and go to school. And also just the whole thing of bettering herself as a human, as a person in society. So that's how the characters differ there in a sense. But the main crux of it is that they're both high-level geniuses in technology, and they're both, of course, African-American women. They both were brought up in the poverty-stricken side of their upbringing. So those are those two different but same kind of, I guess, plot ideas for the character. I also saw a little bit of design of the characters that were a little bit similar, but it's because of the ethnic style coming from the same view, I think. And if you look at my comic book, in certain areas, you would see one of my characters, which is one of Cynthia Hobbs, aka Delete, is the Delete's best friend, and her name is Teresa Tyler, and she's a designer, but you see the kind of look that she has. And I know when I saw Iron Heart, I want to say Iron Maiden so bad, I don't know why, but Iron Heart, she has a character on there. I forget the name of it, but I'm sure when you see it, you'll understand. You'll see the side by side. You see the similarities of the style of one of the characters there. Another thing that was reminiscent to me of one of my characters is Death Player and the Hood. My character, that was one of the nemesis of Delete in her title, is called Death Player. His power is of when he kills someone, he will say, like, if he kills a superhero that has super strength, he would harness that strength, and he would harness it forever, basically. So, and he, wears a hood-like outfit and a skeletal mask. And what reminded me of him is the Hood character in Ironheart, and that's played by Anthony Ramos. Sort of similar in that sense, but it wasn't like, oh my God moment that it's the similar thing. So that was kind of reminiscent. But as far as the story itself of Ironheart, I found the story to be, it was kind of mixed up and jumbled. And also, another thing that I want to talk about is the inclusion of Ironheart, because in my comic book Delete, throughout the series, you see her, like, some of her friends are gay or are part of the LGBTQ community, and you will see that in issue number 2, when she goes to her friend's fashion show that's in a closed down subway station. And so that shows that Delete is about inclusion and even of the LGBTQ community. And so when they showed in Ironheart, throughout the series, they showed this character called Slug, who was a cross-dresser and I don't know who else in the cast is part of the LGBTQ community and things like that. So I found that to be very interesting as well. And I welcome that too in the Marvel series. But also another thing that I found the same resemblance of the two characters is the language and the jargon. Because when I came out with my character, Delete, you would rarely see any lead mainstream superheroine, do swear words or things like that. And I really didn't write out the swear words. I would do like symbols of swear words. But she was like the few of her kind in I guess you could say a general comic book style genre that was meant to be more mainstream, do curse words. And I noticed I was kind of like the first person to do that in 2004. And then I noticed like a couple of a year or so later, other female characters like it more. I remember I saw Sue Richards was of the Fantastic Four. When I saw a Fantastic Four series, she would do curse words, and I never knew Sue Storm to curse the Invisible Woman. And that was the first time I recognized that. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool because it's real. I mean, even though they're women in comics, I feel like you have to do it in real life in certain situations. I felt like, I wanted to do Delete or Cynthia Hobbs, per se, as real as possible. She's in an extreme situation. She would come out with a few curse words here and there, things like that, under duress or whatever. And I see that they have that kind of same thing with Ironheart. Like she has this attitude that's not conventional or has a little edge to it. And so I guess it's coming from the less fortunate financially from the surroundings they come from Harlem and Chicago. So that was pretty interesting to witness that as well, because Delete in my first one definitely has that attitude. But I think what's totally different, and I could run back to it again, is that I don't know, Marvel wrote Ironheart as almost like as if she's a villain. And I just thought that was a bad look to display for a Black female. I didn't know why they went that route. I kind of felt weird about it. I was like, okay, she doesn't have a father. All she thinks about is money and fame, and she'll do anything to get it. So instead of showing her genius in a, almost just cookie cutter way, just going to school, showing her genius, somebody recognizing it and taking her on and things like that, she goes this route to join a gang to steal and rob and just do underhanded things for herself, and it's all selfishness. So it just was very surprising to see that Marvel went that route with her. As far as Delete, I will never write Delete in that vision because I don't want to show a stereotype of negativity towards a certain demographic, especially a Black African-American woman. Please like and subscribe for future videos coming up. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up, especially with the certain announcement coming out about my book and things that are happening in my life. Basically, that's actually really good. And anyhow, stay safe, be careful, and take care.